You wake up. The world is already moving against you. The alarm didn't go off. You're late. Your inbox is flooded with demands. A stranger cuts you off in traffic, throwing up a middle finger like a dagger aimed at your peace. Your heart pounds, your fists tighten. The battle has begun. But this isn't just another bad day. This is war. Not a war fought with weapons, but a war fought within. The enemy isn't out there, it's inside you. It's the fire of rage that ignites when someone disrespects you. It's the tension in your chest when things don't go your way. It's the endless cycle of frustration, blame, and emotional turmoil that keeps you trapped. And the worst part? They want you to get angry. Every insult, every injustice, every slight is bait, an invisible chain designed to shackle your mind. The moment you take it, the moment you react, you lose. Your peace is stolen. Your focus is hijacked. You become a puppet, controlled by the chaos around you. But what if you could break free? What if you could walk through life completely untouchable, impervious to insults, betrayals, and the pettiness of the world? What if no one could ever make you angry again? This isn't fantasy. This is Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that forged warriors, emperors, and visionaries into unshakable forces. Marcus Aurelius, a ruler surrounded by war, treachery, and death, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the key. The world will always be unpredictable. People will betray you. Plans will fall apart. Injustices will happen. But none of it has the power to break you, unless you let it. The greatest victory isn't conquering others. It's conquering yourself. And that's exactly what you're about to learn. By the end of this, you won't just understand how to control your emotions, you'll be unstoppable. Because when you master your mind, the world can rage. But you will remain unshaken. Now let's begin. Part 1, the illusion of control. Why most people stay angry forever. A man sits in his car, gripping the steering wheel like it's the only thing keeping him alive. His breath is shallow. His vision blurs with rage. His boss just fired him. No warning, no explanation. Just a cold dismissal, as if years of hard work meant nothing. He replays the scene over and over. The smug look on his boss's face, the betrayal, the injustice. His stomach tightens. His heart races. His mind screams, "This isn't fair." And in that moment, he is trapped. Not in the car, not in his job, but in his own mind. Because here's the hard truth. Anger is not caused by what happens to you. It's caused by your belief that things should have gone differently. Most people believe that anger is something that happens to them, that it's automatic, unavoidable, even justified. They think it's a natural response to injustice, disrespect, or failure. But that's a lie. Anger is not an uncontrollable force. It's a choice, a conditioned response programmed into you over years of reacting the same way. You've been trained to believe that when someone insults you, you must defend yourself. When someone betrays you, you must retaliate. When life doesn't go your way, you must rage against the world. But where does that get you? You explode in anger. And then what? Does the world suddenly bend to your will? Does the betrayal get undone? Does the insult disappear? The only thing that changes is you, and not for the better. Your peace is shattered. Your focus is stolen. Your power is gone. And that's exactly what the world wants. They want you emotional. They want you reactive. They want you so consumed by anger that you never realize the truth. You were never in control of the outside world to begin with. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor surrounded by war, betrayal, and chaos, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The moment you understand this, everything changes. Anger doesn't come from the situation. It comes from your expectations of the situation. You expected fairness, but the world is not fair. You expected loyalty, but people betray. You expected things to go smoothly, but life is chaos. Every time reality clashes with your expectations, you suffer. But a Stoic does not suffer, because a Stoic does not expect the world to be anything other than what it is. A Stoic understands that people will be cruel, that betrayal will come, that the unexpected will happen. And because they accept reality as it is, not as they wish it to be, they are never disturbed. If you want to be untouchable, you must rewire your mind. And that starts with 3 simple steps. Step 1, kill the illusion of control. The next time something angers you, stop and ask, did I control this situation? Did my expectations create this anger? Does my reaction change anything? Most of the time, the answer will be no. You don't control how people treat you. You don't control what happens in life. You only control how you respond. Accept this truth, and suddenly anger loses its power. Step 2, expect the worst and be ready for it. The world will betray you. People will insult you. Things will not go your way. This is not negativity. This is mental preparation. The Stoics practice premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evil. Every morning they visualize the worst things that could happen that day. A friend turning against them, a major loss, a public humiliation. And because they prepared for it in their mind, nothing ever shocked them. You can do the same. Before you start your day, expect the worst. Not to be fearful, but to be ready. If betrayal comes, you saw it coming. If insult comes, you are unbothered. If failure comes, you adapt. When you expect the worst, nothing breaks you. Step 3, control the meaning, control the emotion. 2 men lose their jobs. One falls into depression, rage, and self-pity. The other shrugs, packs his desk, and sees it as a new opportunity. Same event. 2 completely different reactions. What changed? The meaning they gave it. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment about it." That's the secret. It's never the event, it's the meaning you assign to it. You can choose to see an insult as a personal attack or proof that the other person is weak. You can choose to see betrayal as devastation or as freedom from false loyalty. You can choose to see obstacles as unfair or as fuel for your growth. The world cannot define you. Only you decide what things mean. And when you take control of meaning, you take control of your emotions. Your first test. The next time anger rises, pause. The moment you feel the fire building inside you, the irritation, the frustration, the rage, stop. Take a breath and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Is the insult from a stranger worth your mental energy? Is the petty slight from a coworker worth losing focus? Is the inconvenience worth sacrificing your control? The answer is almost always no. When you let go of the illusion of control, when you expect the worst and prepare for it, when you master the meaning you assign to events, you become untouchable. Society profits from your anger. They want you outraged, distracted, addicted to reacting. Why? Because a man who is controlled by his emotions is easily manipulated. But a man who controls himself, he is dangerous because he cannot be provoked. He cannot be manipulated. He cannot be stopped. That is who you are becoming. This is just the beginning. Now take this knowledge and apply it. The next time life tests you, the next time someone tries to break your peace, stay still. Stay in control. Because the second you master yourself, the world loses all power over you. Part 2, detachment from external judgment. Why you shouldn't care what others think. A man walks into a crowded room. His heart pounds. His mind races. What do they think of me? Do I look confident enough? Are they judging me? He forces a smile, adjusts his posture, tries to control every little detail. But beneath the surface, he is trapped, enslaved by the opinions of others. Then it happens. A comment, a glance, a subtle whisper, and just like that, his confidence crumbles. Why? Because his sense of worth, his entire identity, is tied to external validation. He doesn't own himself. The world does. And that's the prison most people live in. They move through life like puppets, their emotions dictated by the strings of public approval. One insult can ruin their day. One rejection can shatter their self-esteem. But what if no one's words could touch you? What if you could walk through a storm of criticism, judgment, and negativity, completely untouched? This is the power of Stoic detachment. Most people fear judgment. They hold back from speaking their mind because they don't want to be criticized. They waste years chasing approval, molding themselves into someone they're not. They take every insult personally, as if the world owes them kindness. But here's the truth. No one is thinking about you as much as you think they are. People are too busy with their own problems, their own insecurities, their own distractions. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. He wrote, "You are disturbed not by what happens, but by your opinion of what happens." It's not the words of others that harm you. It's your attachment to those words. The world does not define you. You do. Imagine walking down the street. A stranger shouts an insult at you from a passing car. Would you let that ruin your entire day? Most people would. They would replay the words over and over, fueling their anger, questioning themselves, carrying the weight of a meaningless moment. But a Stoic? He sees the insult for what it is. Just noise, nothing more. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "What others do is their business. What you do is yours." Think about that. Their opinions belong to them. Their insults belong to them. Their judgment belongs to them. You do not have to carry it. If you want to be truly free, you must train yourself to detach from external judgment. Here's how. Step 1. Rewire your mind. Turn judgment into noise. Every time someone criticizes you, insults you, or doubts you, see it as background noise. Like static on the radio, like wind blowing through the trees. You wouldn't get angry at the wind, would you? You wouldn't argue with the static. So why waste energy on words that mean nothing? A stranger insults you? Background noise. Someone doubts your dreams? Background noise. A comment online tries to tear you down? Background noise. When you stop assigning meaning to meaningless words, they lose all power over you. Step 2. Understand the projection effect. Here's something most people never realize. When people judge you, they are revealing more about themselves than they are about you. A person who calls you weak is often battling their own insecurity. A person who tries to humiliate you is masking their own fear of insignificance. A person who doubts you is reflecting their own self-doubt. What people say about you is never really about you. So the next time someone insults you, instead of feeling attacked, ask yourself, what does this say about them? When you shift your perspective, judgment stops feeling personal, because it never was. Step 3. Kill the addiction to praise. Most people think the key to confidence is avoiding criticism. It's not. The real key? Stop depending on praise. If compliments inflate you, insults will destroy you. If approval lifts you up, rejection will tear you down. If you live for validation, you will die by criticism. A Stoic remains centered. He does not seek praise, and he does not fear judgment. His self-worth is not dependent on external approval, because he understands the ultimate truth. The opinions of others are powerless unless you give them power. Imagine walking into a room, and you don't care if anyone likes you. Imagine posting your thoughts online, and you don't fear backlash. Imagine making a bold decision, and you're unaffected by judgment. Imagine living in a world where no insult, no criticism, no rejection can break you. This isn't a fantasy. This is a trained mindset. Your first test. The next time someone insults you, do nothing. No reaction, no defense, no explanation, just silence. Watch what happens. Watch how they scramble for control when they see you are unmoved. Watch how their words fade into nothing because you don't feed them. That is power. That is control. That is freedom. Every time someone insults you, criticizes you, or tries to break you, understand this. They want a reaction. They want you angry. They want you defensive. They want you to doubt yourself, because a person who reacts is a person who is controlled. But a person who does not react, he is untouchable. This is who you are becoming. Now the question is, will you let the world control you? Or will you rise above, unshaken, unbothered, and truly free? Your choice. Part 3, the power of non-reaction. How to control every situation. Imagine this. You're in a heated argument. Your heart pounds, your hands clench, your voice rises. You know you shouldn't react, but the words hit you like a blade. The insult, the disrespect, the audacity, it's too much. So you snap back, you defend, you fight, and for a moment you feel powerful. But then, as the dust settles, you realize you lost. Not because they won, not because they were right, but because you let them pull you into their chaos. This is the trap. Every day, people will test you. They will poke, provoke, and push you, hoping for a reaction. And the moment you take the bait, they own you. But what if you could break free? What if nothing, no insult, no argument, no confrontation, could ever shake you again? That's the power of non-reaction. Not silence out of fear, not avoidance out of weakness, but deliberate, strategic control. A level of power so rare that most people never experience it. Picture a hostage negotiator. He stands face to face with an armed criminal. The room is suffocating with tension. Lives hang in the balance. The criminal shouts, threatens, demands. Everyone waits for the negotiator to react, to flinch, to argue, to show fear. But he does nothing. He breathes. He listens. He watches. And slowly the power shifts. The criminal, once in control, starts to doubt himself. The absence of reaction creates an unsettling silence, a vacuum that pulls the other person off balance. This is the power of stillness. The one who reacts first is the one who loses. The one who stays calm controls the game. This is not just a negotiation tactic. This is a philosophy for life. Most people believe power is force. They think the loudest voice wins, the strongest punch dominates, the most aggressive response commands respect. But they're wrong. True power comes from restraint, because the moment you react emotionally, you surrender control. When someone insults you, they expect you to fire back. When someone challenges you, they expect you to defend yourself. When someone disrespects you, they expect anger. But what happens when you give them nothing? Confusion, doubt, loss of control. They wanted a fight. You gave them silence. Now they are off balance. Now they are weak. This is why the most powerful person in any conflict is the one who stays calm. A master negotiator does not argue with criminals. A skilled boxer does not throw reckless punches out of anger. A true Stoic does not waste energy on the meaningless, because they understand. Non-reaction is not weakness. It is the highest form of power. You don't need to be born with unshakable discipline. You train for it. Like a warrior sharpens his blade, you sharpen your mind. Here's how. Step 1. Master the 3-second rule. Every time you feel triggered, do this. 1. Pause. 2. Take a slow, deep breath. 3. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. That sarcastic comment? Not worth it. That reckless driver cutting you off? Not worth it. That rude coworker trying to get under your skin? Not worth it. When you delay your reaction, you reclaim control. Step 2. Flip the power dynamic. When someone provokes you, they expect a response. They expect anger. They expect defensiveness. They expect you to lose control. But when you give them nothing, they become uncomfortable. They wonder if they said the wrong thing. They scramble to regain control. You just flip the power dynamic. You are no longer the one being manipulated. You are the one in control. Step 3. Let silence do the work. Silence is a weapon. It makes people second-guess themselves. It forces them to fill the empty space with their own mistakes. A skilled interrogator does not rush to respond. He waits. A great leader does not argue. He observes. A Stoic does not waste breath on foolishness. He stays still. The next time someone tries to provoke you, do this. 1. Say nothing. 2. Hold the silence. 3. Watch them unravel. The world expects you to react. But when you remain calm, you hold all the power. Think about the last time someone truly got under your skin. Maybe it was a personal attack. Maybe it was a moment of betrayal. Maybe it was an argument that still lingers in your mind. Now imagine reliving that moment. But this time, you do nothing. No reaction, no anger, no wasted energy. Just calm, controlled presence. How does it feel? That is what true power looks like. No one can break you unless you let them. Your first challenge. The next time someone provokes you, say nothing. No defense, no reaction, no wasted words. Just breathe. Watch how they react to your lack of reaction. Watch how their own emotions consume them while you remain untouchable. This is how you train. This is how you win. This is how you become unstoppable. The world will always test you. People will challenge you, insult you, try to pull you into their drama. They want you to react. They want you emotional. They want you weak. Don't give them what they want. Stay still. Stay powerful. Because the moment you master non-reaction, you become untouchable. Part 4, the art of indifference. Stop taking things personally. A man walks into his office. It's just another day until he overhears it. A group of co-workers huddle together, whispering, laughing, and then a glance in his direction. His stomach tightens. His pulse quickens. Are they talking about me? Did I do something wrong? Why would they laugh like that? The thought burrows into his mind like a parasite. He replays the moment over and over. By the time he gets home, he's still thinking about it, still bothered. And the irony? The conversation had nothing to do with him, but his mind turned a meaningless moment into a personal attack, a mental prison he built for himself. This is the trap most people fall into. They take every look, every comment, every action personally, as if the world is plotting against them. But here's the truth. No one thinks about you as much as you think they do. People are too caught up in their own struggles, their own insecurities, their own distractions. And when you finally realize this, something incredible happens. You stop being controlled by other people's opinions. You stop overanalyzing every interaction. You stop taking things personally, and you become free. Most people think being indifferent means being cold, emotionless, uncaring. They're wrong. True indifference is power. It's walking through the fire of criticism and coming out untouched. It's facing rejection without questioning your worth. It's hearing an insult and laughing inside because you know it doesn't define you. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. He wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." That's the secret. Nothing can hurt you unless you let it. And once you internalize this, you become untouchable. If you want to master the art of indifference, you must rewire your mind. Here's how. Step 1, recognize that it's never about you. Most of the time when someone insults you, criticizes you, or dismisses you, it has nothing to do with you. It's about them, their fears, their insecurities, their unresolved frustrations. A person who calls you weak, he is afraid of his own weakness. A person who insults your ambitions, she is bitter about her own failures. A person who belittles you, he feels small and wants to bring you down to his level. When you understand this, their words lose all meaning. They aren't attacking you, they are projecting their own pain. So let them. It has nothing to do with you. Step 2, stop playing the main character in other people's stories. Most people walk around believing they are the center of the universe. Every whisper, every glance, every delayed text message, it's all about them. But here's the brutal truth. You are not that important. Not in the way you think. People are not analyzing your every move. They are not spending their nights thinking about what you said. They are not plotting against you. They are too busy thinking about themselves. Once you accept this, you stop overanalyzing. You stop obsessing over how others perceive you. You stop imagining insults where there are none. And suddenly, your mind is free. Step 3, train yourself to be indifferent. Indifference is not a switch you flip. It's a muscle you train. And the fastest way to train it, expose yourself to judgment and do nothing. Post your thoughts online and let people disagree. Let someone insult you and don't respond. Express an unpopular opinion and stand by it. Each time you resist the urge to react, you grow stronger. Each time you ignore meaningless negativity, you gain power. Until one day you wake up and realize, nothing gets to you anymore. Imagine walking into a room and you don't care what anyone thinks. Imagine hearing criticism and it doesn't faze you. Imagine moving through life completely unbothered. This isn't arrogance. This isn't apathy. This is liberation. No more wasting energy on meaningless opinions. No more losing sleep over things you can't control. No more shrinking yourself to fit someone else's expectations. Just pure, unshakable confidence. The kind of confidence that can't be given. Only earned. And once you have it, the world loses all power over you. Your first test, the next time someone insults you. Say nothing. No defense. No argument. No reaction. Just a smirk. And watch what happens. Watch how they lose control when you refuse to give them power. Watch how they scramble to get a reaction and fail because they expected you to care, and you don't, not anymore. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Each rock represents an insult, a judgment, a rejection. Most people spend their lives carrying this weight, letting every word, every opinion, every slight drag them down. But here's what you don't realize. You can drop the bag anytime. You can choose to stop taking things personally. You can choose to stop letting others define you. You can choose to be indifferent. And once you do, you become light. You move faster, think clearer, live freer. Because the world no longer controls you. You control yourself. That is the ultimate power. That is what it means to be untouchable. Part 5. Memento Mori, How Accepting Death Ends All Anger. A man wakes up in a hospital bed. The last thing he remembers is the sound of metal twisting, the violent impact, the world spinning. Now he stares at the ceiling, his body aching, his mind numb. A few hours ago, he was angry, furious about work, traffic, meaningless arguments. Now, none of it matters, because in that moment, on the edge of life and death, everything became clear. He realizes the truth most people never see until it's too late. Time is slipping away, and yet most people waste it. They waste it holding grudges. They waste it arguing over petty things. They waste it being angry at a world that will never bend to their will. But here's what the Stoics knew. You don't have time to waste, because one day, sooner than you think, you will die. And when that moment comes, you won't care about the small frustrations, the insults, the trivial nonsense that once consumed your mind. All that will matter is how you lived. Most people fear death. They pretend it's far away. They avoid thinking about it. But a Stoic embraces it. Because the moment you accept death, you stop living like a fool. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is memento mori, the practice of remembering your mortality, not to be afraid, not to be depressed, but to wake up, to stop wasting time on things that don't matter, to stop letting anger rule you, to stop living like you have forever, because you don't. Most people live as if they have unlimited tomorrows. They put off forgiveness. They delay their dreams. They assume they have plenty of time. But time is ruthless. You don't get a warning before your last day arrives. One moment, you're planning your future. The next, you're staring at the ceiling of a hospital room, wondering where it all went. How much of your life have you already wasted? How many hours lost in pointless arguments? How many days consumed by anger? How many years spent waiting for the right time to finally live? Enough. The clock is ticking. Every second you spend angry is a second you will never get back. Every grudge you hold is time stolen from your life. Every moment wasted on things beyond your control is a moment lost forever. You don't control how long you live, but you do control how you use the time you have. If you truly understood how little time you had left, nothing would bother you. You wouldn't waste energy on nonsense. You wouldn't argue over meaningless things. You wouldn't carry anger in your heart, because you would know that none of it matters. Here's how to make memento mori a daily practice, so you can live with clarity, power, and peace. Step 1. Face death. Every morning, most people avoid thinking about death. You will face it head on. Every morning, take a moment and remind yourself, I could die today. Say it. Let it sink in. Not to create fear, but to create urgency. Because once you accept that today could be your last, every moment becomes valuable. That petty argument, not worth it. That delayed flight, not worth getting angry over. That stranger who disrespected you, not worth a second of your time. You don't argue with the rain. You don't fight against the wind. And you don't waste your short, fleeting existence on things that don't matter. Step 2. Ask the only question that matters. Before you react, before you get angry, before you waste time on nonsense, ask yourself, if today were my last day, would this matter? Would you spend your final hours complaining? Would you waste your last moments arguing? Would you let a stranger ruin the little time you have left? Of course not. So why do it now? Use this question as your shield. Let it remind you, nothing is worth your peace. Step 3. Stop postponing life. People say, I'll be happy when they make more money, when they get more time, when life is perfect, but there is no when. Your life is happening right now. And if you spend it angry, distracted, lost in meaningless things, you will reach the end and realize you never truly lived. So stop postponing. If there's something you need to say it. If there's something you need to do it. If there's something you love, embrace it. Because nothing is guaranteed, not even tomorrow. What happens when you embrace memento mori? You stop caring about nonsense. You stop reacting to every little thing. You stop wasting your precious time on meaningless emotions. Instead, you become focused, clear, unshakable. You move through life with a sense of purpose. You stop getting caught up in petty conflicts. You stop allowing your emotions to control you because you know the truth. The only thing you ever truly own is this moment, and you will not waste it. Your first test, the next time you feel anger, rising, pause. Before you react, before you let frustration take over, ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, would this matter? 99% of the time, the answer will be no. Let it go. Not for them, for you. Because your time is too valuable to waste. Your energy is too precious to give away. Your life is too short to spend it angry. Most people live as if they have forever. They waste years on anger, grudges, distractions, and then in their final moments they realize none of it mattered. But by then it's too late. You, however, have a choice. You can waste your time or you can master it. You can be controlled by emotion or you can rise above it. You can react to everything or you can stay untouchable. The world will try to pull you into its chaos, but when you remember that your time is limited, you stay calm, you stay focused, you stay free, because now you know the truth. Every second of peace is a second well lived. Part 6, the daily Stoic ritual, how to train your mind like a warrior. Every morning, the war begins. You step out of bed and the world is already waiting to test you. A negative comment, a delay in your plans, a person who disrespects you. You don't control what happens next, but you do control one thing, how you respond. Most people go into battle unarmed. They wake up hoping their emotions will stay in check, believing that self-control is something that magically appears when they need it. But hope is not a strategy. A warrior does not walk into battle hoping he is ready. He trains every single day. If you want to be unshakable, untouchable, completely in control of yourself, you must train your mind like a warrior. That's what this final part is about. Not philosophy, discipline, a daily system to forge an unbreakable mind. One that makes you immune to anger, immune to distractions, immune to anything that tries to steal your peace. The world will try to control you. This is how you take that control back. Step 1, the morning mental armor. Before a Stoic enters the day, he prepares for battle. The practice is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evil. It's simple. Before you start your day, expect the worst. Someone will insult you. A plan will fall apart. The unexpected will happen. This is not pessimism. This is armor. Because when you anticipate obstacles, nothing surprises you. If someone betrays you, you were already prepared. If something goes wrong, you saw it coming. If the day doesn't go your way, you expected it. And when you expect the worst, you meet it calmly. Nothing can break you, because nothing can shock you. Every morning, take 1 minute to visualize the possible struggles ahead. Then decide now, how will I respond? Will I get angry? Number, will I lose control? Number, will I stay untouchable? Yes, this is how you win the day before it even begins. Step 2, the 3-second rule, mastering non-reaction. Most people ruin their peace in the first 3 seconds of an emotional trigger, an insult, a delay, a moment of disrespect. Without thinking, they react. They snap. They engage in a battle that never needed to happen. That's where the 3-second rule changes everything. Here's how it works. When something triggers you, pause for 3 seconds. 1, breathe in. 2, breathe out. 3, decide. Does this deserve my energy? 99% of the time, the answer is no. That angry driver, not worth it. That rude comment, not worth it. That unexpected inconvenience, not worth it. Every time you pause instead of reacting, you strengthen your mind. Every time you refuse to be provoked, you build discipline. Over time, nothing phases you. Step 3. The nightly reflection, forging an unbreakable mind. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, had a ritual. Every night he would sit alone and ask himself, did I live today as the man I want to be? This was not self-punishment, it was self-mastery. He reviewed his reactions, his moments of anger, his failures, not to dwell on them, to improve. You will do the same. Each night ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Did I stay in control today? 2. Where did I let emotions take over? 3. How will I handle it better tomorrow? This 5-minute practice will transform you, because when you track your mind, you sharpen it. Every night you refine yourself. Every night you correct your weaknesses. Every night you build yourself into someone who can never be broken. What happens when you live this way? You walk through life differently. You stop reacting. You stop caring about what doesn't matter. You stop wasting time on things you can't control. Instead, you move with absolute clarity. You stay calm under pressure. You control every situation by controlling yourself. You become the person no one can provoke. No one can shake. No one can pull into their chaos. You become untouchable. This is your test. For one day, commit to total control. 1. In the morning, visualize the worst. Expect challenges. Expect tests. Be ready. 2. During the day, use the 3-second rule. Pause before every reaction. Choose calm. 3. At night, reflect. Did you stay in control? Where did you slip? How will you improve? One day. That's all it takes to start the transformation. And when you succeed, do it again and again until one day you wake up and realize you haven't been angry in weeks, haven't been bothered by anything in months, haven't been controlled by anything in years, because now you are in control of yourself. There are 2 kinds of people in this world. Those who are ruled by their emotions and those who rule themselves. Most people, they react, they complain, they get offended. They live their entire lives at the mercy of things outside their control. But you are not most people. You have seen the truth. You have learned the techniques of the Stoics. Now the question is, will you apply them? Will you wake up tomorrow and train? Will you refuse to waste another second on anger? Will you finally take full control of your mind? This is your moment. Rise above. Stay calm. Stay untouchable. Your journey starts now.